There comes a time when you have to say something. There comes a time to make a little noise. There comes a time for no ordinary action. There comes a time to raise your voice. There comes a time when you have to move your feet. There comes a time to step in the fray. There comes a time to end the silence. There comes a time for a safer day. And now is the time. The time is now is the time. The time is now is the time. Now is the time to get in the way, to make a way out of no way. There comes a time to be stronger than the bullets. There comes a time to be louder than the guns. There comes a time to shout for the victims. There comes a time to right those wrongs. There comes a time to hold the hand of your neighbor. There comes a time to end an endless war. There comes a time to turn tears to action. There comes a time to say no more. And now is the time. The time is now is the time. The time is now is the time. Now is the time to get in the way, to make a way out of no way. There comes a time to say no to the NRA. There comes a time to ban automatic guns. There comes a time to pick gums out of angry hands. There comes a time to get it done. There comes a time to say we have had enough. There comes a time to march in the streets. There comes a time for us to protest. There comes a time to save a heartbeat. And now is the time. The time is now is the time. The time is now is the time. Now is the time to get in the way, to make a way out of no way. There comes a time to say no to white supremacy. There comes a time to stand up to power. There comes a time to see our part in the system. There comes a time, and this is the hour. There comes a time to say we have had enough. There comes a time to march in the streets. There comes a time to take a stand together. There comes a time to move our feet. And now is the time. The time is now is the time. The time is now is the time. Now is the time to get in the way. And now is the time. The time is now is the time. The time is now is the time. Now is the time to get in the way, to head a way out of no way. Way out of no way.
So that song, in case you don't realize it already, let me get this mic off. That song was actually written for John Lewis. And what happened was that you may remember back in 2016, there was a horrible mass killing at the Pulse gay nightclub in Orlando. And 49 people were killed in cold blood there at the nightclub. And that at that point, the House was controlled by the Republicans, and the Democrats in the House were trying to get through some very minimal, sensible gun laws in response to this tragedy. And the Republican leadership didn't want to go along with it. And so John Lewis took the initiative and planned a sit-in in the House when they were trying to close down the House for a recess. And they stayed all night in the House. They were not ultimately successful in passing the gun control laws, but I wanted to read you what John Lewis said on the floor during that sit-in. Sometimes you have to do something out of the ordinary. Sometimes you have to make, I'm going to start over again. Lewis said, sometimes you have to do something out of the ordinary. Sometimes you have to make a way out of no way. There comes a time when you have to say something, when you have to make a little noise, when you have to move your feet. This is that time. Now is the time to get in the way. The time to act is now. We will be silent no more.